Oh, I guess it just went live.
Oh yeah,
And it skipped my thing. All right, I guess I'll run my
thing.
run my leader so you guys can know not to hurt yourself and do stupid things. We're just dumb bodybuilders that talk about dumb things. Warning, this content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition. Battle tested, expert formulated. Use discount code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. What's up, guys?
What's up? What's up, Chase?
Hey,
Whoa,
what's going
Chase.
on? Whoa, what's up?
Chase, we the important news, man. We got to hear about all this food you ate.
Yeah.
There was so much food porn on your Instagram feed, man. I was
like
envious.
40 stories of just straight dessert.
I was like, Chase is going to be 300 pounds when he gets back.
No. Well, I mean, so like literally the food that I posted when we were in Greece that was all the food that I was eating. So like I was eating like 2 meals a day. So I'd have lunch and then we'd have dinner, and that was pretty much it for food. But yeah, I mean, it was big meals, but yeah, I mean, I lost 10 pounds while I was there. So
dude, that's what happens to me when I go on vacation, man. It's like I went on vacation last week. I lost 12 pounds while I was gone.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't care whether I do or don't. It's just like when I go on vacation, I don't want to think about food or eating or anything. So we just go and I eat when my wife eats, and that's basically the way it works. So
that's what I do on vacation. I just try to not be a jerk about eating, but I'll just, you know, I'm not weighing and measuring my food or having scheduled meals. It's one fucking week a year usually for me. And then plus I drive my girlfriend nuts with bringing the chicken and rice everywhere. So I don't do.
Yeah, when I left, I was 275. When I got back, I was 265. And today I was 276. So yeah.
I know you've been running the super high doses of stuff. I've had this issue like since I've been cranked up the gear in the HGH. I can't keep weight on. It doesn't matter how much I eat. I'm losing weight.
Yep, I'm actually experiencing the same thing.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's been pretty easy for me to go up because I feel like I could still eat a lot more and I'm like holding back. So I don't know if that's, I don't know. I feel like I'm always holding back though on how much I could eat. Cause I feel like I can put on weight, fat really quick, really easy. Like my appetite's always just pretty crazy. So yeah, I feel like if I wanted to get to 300, like I could eat easily to push up to that, but it would be a sloppy mess, I assume. So I'm just scared to death of doing that. But
I mean, you always look lean to me, man. Yeah. I came back from vacation. Like I said, I lost 12 pounds on vacation. Justin told me to keep doing high days until I got all the 12 pounds back. Yeah. Which my high days are 1,000 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
And I ran 5 back-to-back high days and only gained 1 pound.
Nice. That's pretty
How's
good.
that possible?
Yeah, I mean, like that's pretty good. No, yeah, I mean, when we came back, I mean, we got back a couple weeks ago, and I mean, I haven't been pushing food. I've just kind of, brought my meals back in, eating 6 meals a day, and it just kind of floated right back up to where I was before I left. And yeah, like I'm not even trying really to push the food in. So it's kind of like if I did, yeah, things would, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next, couple months. So
what was the coolest thing you did while there?
I mean, seeing the Parthenon was pretty cool. That was probably the coolest thing. But I mean, like most of like Santorini and mostly Santorini, it's the views at that place are ridiculous because it's just like built into a cliffside and like it's like straight down from the side, so you just have like this huge view of, you know, just like all the water and the cliffs and everything built on the side of it, and everything's white and blue, like all the buildings are pure white. So it's like, it's really cool seeing that. But once you're there and you've seen that, getting around Santorini is a bitch, because it's mountains. Like it's built into mountains. So it's like, if you're going to walk somewhere, it's a hike. Like you're either going downstairs or upstairs, and then you got to go back the same way that you came. And then if you want to get an Uber or a cab, it's no matter where you go, it's going to be $35. So it's like, do we want to spend the money to do it, or do we want to sweat our asses off going to dinner or whatever? That was probably the biggest downfall, is just trying to get around was kind of a pain in the ass. And then, I mean, like when you get in a car, it's almost like 20 to 30 minutes wherever you're going, because it might only be 2 miles away, but you got to wind up and down the mountain each way. So and I get car sick really easy, so that doesn't help either. But
how much do you think you spent in total there? I'm curious if you might
have. I have no idea, honestly.
You didn't even look. You're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, no, I did. There was no budget really. I mean, it wasn't that expensive, you know. I'm like, as long as you weren't using all the cabs and stuff,
right?
But, yeah, honestly, I like, while we were there, I can't even. If I was gonna guess, maybe. I mean, we were there for 8 days, and then there were 2 travel days, so 10 days gone, but 8 days while there. Maybe $2,000. I'm really not sure.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it wasn't like, and we went to, like, for food wise, like we went to really expensive places, so it really wasn't that bad.
I've heard food's cheap over there.
Yeah, it's cheap for sure. And you can get really cheap with it, but yeah, it wasn't that bad while we were there. But the flights are expensive going there and back.
Yeah, I think the most expensive part's getting there, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. It's great. I've just bought some tickets to Thailand for, I can't even remember when, September, I think. And the tickets are like $1,200 round trip, which is pretty shit. But like the nicest Airbnb, like I found, is $21 a day. And I'm like, how does this work? It's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cheap. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So how much? Okay, I know you just said it. How much is it for a hotel, and how much is it per meal? Would you say, in where you were
in Greece?
Yeah.
Oh hell. I mean, so I was saying $2,000 just while we were there, spending on food and traveling around. Yeah, so I mean, as far as like the hotels,
so that's $250 a day. So you're spending less than $100 a day on food and less than $100 a day on
really good
hotel.
You go to Hawaii, you're spending like quadruple.
Hawaii was expensive. Yeah, we went to Hawaii. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's way cheaper than Hawaii. But I mean, yeah, the hotels, like, it depends on where you're staying, of course. But I mean, most of our places, I mean, we tried to pick like nicer places. So most of it was like, it was like $400, $500 a night for what we were doing. But there were definitely, we also like planned it really short term. So we were kind of limited in our options. So that was, if we would have planned it like maybe 6 months in advance, we would have had some better pricing options. But yeah.
What, I'm curious, was this like premeditated, or was this kind of like I know you talked about it like prior to you going, but was it like let's just go? Or
I mean, we had wanted to go, and then like my wife had been talking about it, and I was like, are you serious? Like, because we need to like pull the trigger on this thing. And so I mean, we planned it like 2 months in advance, I think.
Okay.
So it was really, once she finally committed to it, I was like, planned it. So
going. Yeah, that's something I want to get better at, is traveling. It's so hard when you're a bodybuilder because you get anxious.
Is that your cat, Colin?
Yeah, it's just Colin's cat.
I'm sorry. My wife slept in today because she probably wouldn't appreciate me saying this, but she got a little fucked up last night. and the cats are usually out, like they have access to the rest of the house by now, but it's only one cat. It's the oldest one. She is the only girl. Vocal. she's it's a tabby, so like they talk a lot, and she just like rules the roost, and she will not shut up until she gets what she wants. I'm sorry if it's not me chewing on mic, it's gonna be my cat's meowing today. Sorry, y'all.
Colton's doing the chewing today.
Watch out, you don't get cyberbullied for that, Colton.
I know. I gotta be careful.
You're already the most disliked.
I know.
Now you're chewing on
Well,
stream.
he shaved the mustache, so.
Oh yeah, I just
bummer.
realized.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
I think it looks better.
Appeal to a different persona. No,
I think it looks better. What does your girlfriend think? Does she like it without the
she
mustache?
says I look younger. She actually liked the mustache.
You do look younger without it.
It's definitely
Well,
younger,
the mustache adds like 5 hit points, right?
It does, yeah.
Plus 2 charisma.
Plus 2 charisma.
Plus 2 charisma.
Yeah.
Oh god, I got one for you guys. I'm not going to name names, but I had a couple people reach out to me yesterday, and there is a certain their high level coach that's an IFBB pro that was lifting my content and putting it in his paid course.
Really?
Straight up copies of my shit, like not even changed the font. I was laughing my ass off when I saw it, but
I think you should say who it is.
I'm trying to think who has paid courses.
I'm not going to pull Victor Black here. That was funny. The person who sent me that is like, "Hey Paul, now you know how Victor feels."
That's crazy.
But yeah, it was pointed out to me. I was just like, "God damn, man! Just like at least change the font."
At least you know you're putting out quality stuff. Yeah. People are willing to pay for what you provide. So
the funny part was it's the shit that I'm putting out for free,
right?
And he's taking it and lifting it and charging people for it.
That sucks.
That's the hilarious part. I don't even really care, man.
Those poor people.
But yes, a couple people pointed that out to me. That made me laugh my ass off.
You should pursue that. I would. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, come on, man.
I think that somebody actually posted something, I believe it was a woman, that you should sue over intellectual property theft on the internet, that there is recourse, that if you're a content creator and you create content, you don't have to get it copyrighted like a book. Like it's automatically yours because it's on your site, and that you can actually go after them for it. I know that you probably don't need the money, you don't care, but
I mean, all the person had to do is just give me a shout out. I really don't care. Yeah. I really don't. I put it out there for free. I mean, we all learn from each other, and we all, use, sort of repurpose things that we've learned from each other. But that's how it goes. But straight up taking my documents and posting them up on your paid course and slapping your logo on it, that's pretty lame.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to let it go. I would go after somebody. If they're actually claiming it, the intellectual property is their own intellectual property, then if I don't contest it, then they can try and sue me for theft.
Yeah. I have all my clients, because we put out seminars every week and we record them and we send it to, there's like a whole folder full of seminars that are pretty high level education. So we make them sign like recognizing that we have intellectual property, and if they take it, it's against the law. And so I think that's a big deal, like especially when you put hours and hours and hours of work into the content. Stuff like Victor Black's is just like, hey, you mentioned the study that I mentioned. That's copyright. I'm like, no, it's not.
He's mad at people for reposting graphics he stole off of an actual article and put his logo on it. And they just put their logo over his logo. He's like, this guy stole my material. It's like, you literally ripped it off of a study. That's what, and he never puts the legend up either. He puts the graph, but no legend, so that it has no context. You have no idea what the graph is.
That's what really gets me with his stuff. Is I look at the graphs that he posts, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this. What are we talking about? Plus, like his captions are always like talking in circles, and it's in like code. I'm like trying to decipher shit. I gave up months ago. I don't know. I don't even look at it anymore. But.
Yeah, I couldn't.
I just look at it like it's Dateline. You know, like it's like a who's on the most wanted list.
Yeah.
And it's like if he goes after somebody, that means that they're cool and I should reach out to them and make friends. So I was like, oh, he hates that person. They must be cool as fuck. And then when I saw myself on the list, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he knows who I am. This is awesome.
Everybody's on his naughty list.
Seriously. Crazy.
He even says, I'm going to put you on my list. I'm like, please do. Please do. You mean the one with all the legends, the most illustrious names of all of bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Like
he's not on the list.
It's like, please put me on that list.
Well, then he complains why people won't collaborate with him. I'm like, nobody wants to associate with that.
Well,
because
I did.
All the popular people hate you.
I actually did a video with him.
I saw that on his channel.
And he took it down, but I had already reshared it, so it shows up on his home screen of his channel now. Yeah. And then it's actually a relatively popular video for him compared to the other videos he's got. And it was funny because he was trying to make me sound stupid, and he just didn't know the difference between the word efficacy and potency. I'm like, I'm talking about potency, not efficacy. And he didn't know what that meant. And I explained it to him. He still didn't know what it meant. And I was like, I want to talk to you about your black models. So I went through line by line and I picked apart the models and say, why is it this way, not this way? Why are we adding insulin without checking blood sugar to see if they need it? Why are we adding extra telmisartan without checking blood pressure? Why are we just shifting the whole thing and every item on the thing goes up by 20 to 50% without actually determining if you need these things? And he would talk in circles, but he didn't have any answers. So it's like he was like setting a trap for me to try to embarrass me using his platform. But I walked into the trap and had a counter trap. And I love that video. It's one of my favorite.
I did a podcast with him as well, and the same thing kind of happened where it was just like him talking in circles. I was like trying to get him to talk about his models for females, and there's some stuff I agree with, but I was like trying to get specific examples, and he was like, well, this is my framework and this is what I do. And it's just like, oh my God, we talked for an hour and it was all about his framework, like without talking about any specifics. It was just, it's like, what are we doing? Like, it's so annoying.
You want to hear about somebody talking in circles? You should do an interview with Kai Green. I did. I did that. I did that for Redcon. It was like 2 years ago. I was like, I would ask him a question. He would start going, and I'd have my phone down, and I'm texting like the managers that I know are there behind the camera, and I'm like, you gotta stop him. Stop him. I can't stop him. And he just kept going. I don't even know one thing that we talked about, but it was just,
after a while you probably just start spacing out. You're like, shit.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't know what to say. Like, how do I cut in on this guy?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that uses big words and says nothing.
Well, he just kept going on, and then he would start over. It's like,
so
shit.
I think like Kai Green is a great person to watch if you're like on shrooms or like, because it would be so insightful because you'd be on the same wavelength and it would click. But a lot of the times you're like watching him go and you're like, this is profound, but I'm not wise enough to access the wisdom that he's imparting to me.
He's just constantly like just spitting out super inspirational stuff, but it's just like in circles, and then he'll start talking about his childhood and just like going around, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with all that.
All right, everyone keeps bringing this up.
Peas and carrots. Let's go.
Yep.
Todd's famous for the peas and carrots.
I posted nonstop.
I feel like I have to give credit to Todd every time I eat peas and carrots. People are like messaging me and they're like, hey Paul, I tried your peas and carrots. There they are.
Yep, it's the central now. It's always in the food.
I'm like, no, that's a Dr. Todd trick. That's not me. That is a patented Dr. Todd trick.
Yep.
That should be the name of the podcast. Peas, carrots, and the R word. That should be
No, that's actually my trick. I'm taking it and I'm just changing the name.
Oh, good.
You're putting your logo over it?
I put my logo on it. It's Colin's peas and carrots now.
Somebody wanted to know what you were eating, Kolton. Was it an egg white?
No, it was pineapple. I just took a shit ton of Lantis today, so like before I got on, I wasn't able to eat, so I just slammed some pineapple really quick.
I like pineapple.
I love pineapple. It's my favorite.
Hey, did you guys know that apples have wax on them? I just found this shit out.
Wax.
Yeah.
They're so shiny.
Yeah, like it's artificial wax. The manufacturer of like not the
they spray them.
It's so shiny.
Sprays wax. I'm mind blown. I'm like, what is this shit? I've been lied to my whole life.
I grew up in the apple capital of the United States. This place where I grew up is a bunch of apple farms. So yeah, we saw all that shit. Yeah, that's how they make them shiny. They spray them with wax.
Now I'm scared.
I do the same thing to my balls.
Oh. Is that how you keep them shiny, Colin?
That's right. Yeah, get those wrinkles out, keep them shiny.
It's like the bowling ball. You get the polishing cloth out.
What movie was that?
Scene from Lebowski.
Yeah. He's just like
nobody
like
fuck
right
with the
over his
Jesus.
Nobody fuck with the Jesus. That is one of my favorite. The Big Lebowski is probably one of my top 5 movies of all time.
So quotable, that movie. I haven't seen it in years.
Oh man,
that's a film.
The Coen brothers make great movies, but that's one of my favorites of theirs.
That's probably their best one. Like they did No Country for Old Men, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that
one's
good flick too.
But it's like it's just so different.
Yeah, it's so different. Yeah,
it's so different.
Slightly darker.
Slightly darker.
A little bit.
I remember when I went to see it in theaters, everyone was so fucking old. I was like, what is going on here? It's not for old men. They took it literally. I was like,
oh man,
it's not the movie for old men. It's No Country for Old Men. It's for, in other words, it's for young people. But no one got that. It's like I had to stand in line to get into my seat behind multiple people with walkers. It was really weird.
I believe that's a Cormac McCarthy book. He writes some really dark shit. I don't know if you've read any Cormac McCarthy stuff, but I'm nerding out now.
Yeah, you're dating yourself.
I know. Should we take some questions?
Yeah, there's some questions rolling in.
We could use some more questions.
I figured out how to do this thing. I got my phone over here. And I can see what people are saying. And I'm able to respond finally. I didn't know about the chat. I knew that the chat existed. I didn't know how to get to it. Like this whole time.
No podcast for old men.
Nope.
We got Twin here. Would Masteron or Primo help with any side effects of Anadrol? I remember AIs have no effect on Anadrol.
Don't use Anadrol. That's your solution.
Yeah, I mean, Anadrol is Masteron. It's 17 alkylated, so it's not gonna.
I remember Todd when you were coaching me and you told me that that Anadrol was dirty Anavar. It's basically Anavar with all the bad side effects.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing people might like is the water retention, so they think they've gained muscle. Yeah. But if you're going to go with the Anadrol, you might as well go with the Superdrol, and it's the improved version of Anadrol. All the minimal benefits that it has over the other DHT derivatives, but it doesn't have the side effect of making you bloated.
Yeah, but
if I recall correctly, doesn't Anadrol? I know it doesn't aromatize, but doesn't it directly have some sort of direct effect on the estrogen receptor?
I know that it has some type of indirect effect on gyno.
Yeah, because it can cause. I got gyno the first time it was the very first cycle I ran was an Anadrol.
To my knowledge, no one knows exactly how it works. There's theories.
At least I think it was Anadrol.
Some people stand behind their theory as if it's fact, but my understanding is they're all theories. No one's 100% sure.
Yeah, that's what I.
Why? And you can, I could list the theories, but then it just confuses people and makes them go down rabbit holes that don't need to go down. The bottom line is just don't use Anadrol. No matter what Fuad tells you, don't use Anadrol.
The only exception I could think of is maybe for a power lifter or a strength athlete that's peaking for a competition. That might be the only exception I could think of. But for bodybuilding, I just don't. I don't really feel like Anadrol fits in with bodybuilding.
Well, even in that context, I still think either D-ball if you want to be a bloated tick, or Superdrol if you want all the benefits of Anadrol without the drawbacks, would still be a better choice. That Anadrol is just never the best choice.
Yeah, I mean, Halotestin's another option if you're a power lifter for neural drive. I actually like Halotestin.
So it just makes me mean.
Yeah, it doesn't have that effect on me, man. but you're an asshole already, Todd.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
how is that even possible, Todd?
Oh, this man is so bad. It's no filter, no delay.
I would love to see Todd with no filter.
Oh, you say that now, but it's only funny
what
if
am I
you're
getting
like
now if there's also a version of you with no filter.
No, this is a major filter and a delay. It's just, the only thing that I do that's wrong is I say offensive things because I'm not woke enough to know better. I actually think I really do think I'm filtering what I'm saying on this podcast, and that everything's okay because I filtered it. This is the filter. It's just that without the filter, it's horrible.
I remember Todd.
I think you're getting more woke by the day, Todd.
I remember Todd was on contest prep when he was coaching me, and I complained about something, and Todd told me something about me projecting my insecurities and all this stuff, and I was like, "What? Are you fucking like how I'm insecure and like and I need steroids to make myself secure?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
Well, I'm sorry I misread the situation. That's embarrassing.
I still like you.
Well,
I got pretty thick skin.
Most people wouldn't take. Most people don't handle that well. Did I tell the story about the Japanese school system?
No.
All right. So I have this friend. I have a friend. Well, let's be real. I have a friend, and what do you call it? And I made him bring his weight down so he could control his form better because he was doing progressive resistance, but he was getting sloppy with it, right? So his boss had hired me too, and then they were training together. So his boss emailed me and said, "Hey, so-and-so is lifting slower with less weight to work on form. Is form something I should work on too?" And I said, "Do you know what my favorite thing about the Japanese school system is?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "When a kid gets a B, they walk up to the top of the school and they jump off." And then
you've told me this one before.
And so the 2 months later, my buddy was like, "Yeah, so-and-so just stopped. Like, he still comes to the gym and he still trains with you. What do you mean he's not checking in?" I was like, "Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a few months." And then the other buddy who's there, who's also my client, was like, "I think it's because you told me to jump off a building." And I was like, "I didn't say that. I said that excellence is the only acceptable way, and that anything less than excellent is unacceptable." He's like, "No, like, sure, you told him to jump off of a building." Some of my Japanese school kids. I'm like, "Yeah, I gave him a metaphor that excellence is the only acceptable way, and that half measures is unacceptable." And he's like, "Yeah, he did not understand that. All he understood was that you told him to jump off a building."
Oh my God, you're terrible, Todd.
Abstractly, Todd, and they take things that you say literally.
Yeah, it's like a certain somebody whose initials are AT.
Was it the anabolic ayahuasca speaking, Todd? That's what Todd calls Tren.
Well, here's the funny thing is that I was on Tren for like 10 years. I never came off. And then I just
10 years straight of Tren. That explains a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, for a couple of years, I was just using a little bit, like 20 milligrams a day. But recently, when I went back on Tren for prep, after having been off for like 2 years, I was only on 25 milligrams a day. And boy, was I mad all the time. I had no filter. I was mad and everything was pissing me off. And I was like, most of the reason all those years that I had problems with prep and being a jerk to people is just because of Tren. And it's like probably almost every relationship that failed, the girl always had one complaint that I was an asshole, but she couldn't give any specific example. And I bet that if I didn't use Tren, I would have been more patient and would have had a better filter. And
yeah, you would have been married by now.
Yeah, I could have had kids by now. And it's like I could be spawning the future supervillains of tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the world
I know
because of Tren. Tren saved the world because it stopped me from reproducing.
I know I've told this story before, but Todd, when he first started coaching me, I was kind of going through my divorce, and I told him that I thought Tren caused my divorce, and he's like, no, it's the anabolic ayahuasca that made you see the truth.
He's like, don't blame the Tren.
Don't blame the Tren.
Yeah.
Don't blame the Tren. The Tren
it's
gave
funny,
you clarity.
I've seen so many divorces happen on Tren, like so many. And
I forget who it was that called Tren divorce in a bottle. There was some bodybuilder.
I've said that a lot. It is literally a divorce in a bottle.
Well, I forget who it was.
Well, that one of your clients, Paul, was talking about, like, somebody asked, like, what's it like to be on Tren, and they were like, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, that was a comment on one of my videos. He was like, stage 1, your strength grows up. Stage 2, you think your girlfriend's cheating on you. Stage 3, stage 3, you get angry at everybody. Stage 4, you're cheating on your girlfriend. Stage 5, you ascend to godhood. It was something like that. Somebody put in the comment section. That was a good one. I wish I could give credit to whoever it was, but that was hilarious.
It's funny that he said that, because I figured out that Tren gave me paranoid delusional schizophrenia, that I always thought people were plotting to get me or plotting against me, and I had to kill him first.
Okay.
And then I was like, but you're on Tren, so reevaluate when you're off Tren. And then I just never went off, so I never reevaluated. But I was like, yep, I'm gonna have to kill that person, because
dude, so I have the same thing happen. It always happens. But I see shit, and I'm like, someone's in the fucking house. But it's like for a brief moment, like I'll see a shadow and there's nothing there. But I'm like, I gotta kill this motherfucker. I'm like, what am I thinking about? Like, I'm seeing shit right now. What the fuck? It's so weird.
Or it's like if you're walking through the grocery store and the person in front of you is walking slower than you.
Oh my god!
You imagine cutting their head off with a samurai sword, and like every single person, it's like you fatality them like it's more of an angel, like it's, what do you call it, Mortal Kombat, with like either a sword or a morning star or a scythe.
That is such a fucking pet peeve of mine. Like, because I know my way around the grocery store very well, as I assume you guys do too. You go to the same fucking store all the time. You know where the shit you want is. And you get some fucking like weekend warrior in there, just like, just walking so slow in front of you. You're like, I'm on a fucking mission. I know where I need to be. Get the fuck out of my way, Grandma.
Made me start to wear headphones in the grocery store.
I always wear them. I walk in with them and wave at the greeter, because I was like, I'm autistic and I need to have my music, otherwise I'll snap and kill people and shit.
I have a Tren rage story for you. I told Colin and we were talking about this one last night. This was when Todd was coaching me. Todd's good old remember the Nandrolone Tren Anavar cycle. That's what Todd had me running. This was like right when I first started working with him, and I was already angry going through my divorce. I was in the grocery store. My daughter was with me, no less. And I was looking for the almond milk. I was standing in front of the case with the thing. And this whole guy, like, I couldn't find the damn almond milk. And this whole guy, like, I don't know, he was like in his 50s. I don't know. He hits me with his cart. And I looked around. I'm like, I thought it was an accident. And I look back and he's like, hurry up. I'm like, can you imagine? And I'm like, motherfucker. And so I'm like, I'm looking for the almond milk, and I turn back around, and he did it again. And I just lost my shit, and I flipped his fucking shopping cart over.
I was gonna say that's what I would have done.
All this shit went flying everywhere, and I'm like, don't fucking touch me.
I totally would have, like, you like games? How about 52 pickup? And just fucking flip his
I flipped his shopping cart over right in the middle of the grocery store, man. Shit went flying everywhere, man. And he left me alone after that.
That's cool.
Oh my god.
I should admit to that one. I think the statute of limitations has run out on that. It's like 7 years ago.
Those are important. You always have to check statute of limitations before we confess.
But anyway, that was my Tren rage. I didn't hit him. I didn't touch him. I flipped his shopping cart over, but some motherfuckers deserve it.
I mean, that was, to be fair, that was like totally uncalled for what he did. So
yeah, he hit me with it twice. I let him have the freebie.
Yeah, you did your due diligence.
Oh, did I tell you guys? I think I told you guys last week I had somebody try to rob me on vacation.
What?
You didn't say that.
No, I didn't tell you guys that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I had some guy try to steal my wallet.
What happened?
Like while it was still in your pocket?
No, I was sitting in my car. I have a Tesla, and I was charging it up at the supercharger. In this, I was in Florida, and this cracked out dude comes up and bangs on my window. And I roll my window down a couple inches, just to be cautious. And he's like, "Yo, man, you want to buy some gold?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to buy any gold." And then I rolled my window back up, and he knocked on it again. And I said, "Dude, I told you I'm not interested." And he starts cursing me out, and then sticks his hand. I had my wallet sitting on my lap, and he sticks his hand in my window, and goes for my wallet. Like tries to grab my wallet, and I grabbed his arm and I pinned his arm up against my steering wheel, 2-on-1, and I put him in a wrist lock on my steering wheel. And I had one hand on his arm, and the other one I rolled the window up so he was just his armpit pinched up in the window.
And I had him with your Tesla armbar,
wrist lock.
Oh, I had him Tesla armbarred, man,
and back like this.
Oh yeah, he was screaming.
I would have driven away. We're like, you like running?
Put it in reverse. Here we go.
I was plugged up to the supercharger. I thought about it.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, you ever seen National Lampoon's Vacation? It's like you just drive away with them.
Well, he had a lookout. There was a dude in another car come flying around the parking lot, and I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm gonna get shot now. So I'm like, I told him, like, I'm gonna let you go.
I thought the Teslas had bulletproof windows.
The Cybertruck.
Oh, only the Cybertruck?
Yeah, only the Cybertruck.
Well, we got to upgrade. You get a Cybertruck come to Detroit.
I wonder if there's some sort of like security thing with the supercharger thing, like if it'll just pop out if you drive off.
Probably that'd actually be really smart.
Yeah,
probably.
People might forget.
It's like that with normal pumps. Normal pumps, you can drive away and it'll disengage. Yeah, it's not going to rip that out and then have oil spraying all over the place to make sure that any lit cigarette causes a conflagration.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that somebody tried to rob me, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, actually, I bet the car wouldn't even go in gear if you were plugged.
Probably not.
It would probably just stop you.
It was hilarious though. This guy was screaming, man.
It's so funny.
What happened? Like, did you just roll down the window and he like left, or?
I told him, I said, there's two options here, man. I'm gonna break your fucking arm, or you can get away, and I'll let go. And I let go, and he took. I called the cops. The cops are just like, they said it's been going on everywhere down there. It's just a scheme. But
I don't know. It probably would have been fun to break his arm, then let him go.
I am pretty sure I fucked his wrist up, man. He was. I felt some shit pop and he was running back to his car like.
Oh
like
yeah,
this.
yeah. You heard him. That's good. At least,
yeah.
Because he, you didn't cut his hand off like a proper Hammurabi code. But if you break his hand, then it's like a warning. Then it's he has to wait.
Believe the dude stuck his hand in my car, man. That's so crazy.
What a professor used to say: whenever somebody gives you an arm, that's a gift.
Somebody puts their hand on you. That's your hand.
That yours. That belongs to me now.
That belongs to me now, man. That's not your hand anymore.
That's so.
I mean, I didn't hit him or anything. I just neutralized the threat. And I mean, you gotta be brave in Florida, man. They got stand your ground laws down there, man. You can pump some lead into somebody for something like that in Florida.
Todd, what was that you just pulled up?
So some guy in the comments is talking about how he's gotten L-Carnitine painful injections. So I wanted to hold this up for him, that this is the only L-Carnitine I've ever used that doesn't hurt.
I've used that. Yeah, it's good.
And it's called, basically it's Synfetech. And like a proper asshole, they don't call it L-Carnitine. They call it Synthetine. But all their products are called Syntha something. And the stupid fucks in the warehouse will mail you the wrong goddamn thing.
Oh god!
They have a bunch of different things named like Syntha something.
Yeah, it's too stupid for words. Like, motherfuckers, it should be L-Carnitine, not Synthetine fat loss thing. It's like, you fucking tools. But the point is they send you the wrong thing, then they want you to mail them back the right thing, and then they'll send you. I'm like, listen here, you fucked up, not me. This is my medication. I don't give a fuck about what you think. You're going to send me what I'm missing. Right. It's not my problem. You sent me the wrong thing.
You're like a customer service rep, Todd. That'd be really good.
No, I don't think I would. I would have been a good lawyer or a divorce attorney. I wouldn't make a good customer service rep.
Oh my! I would pay for that. I would pay to see trials where you're the divorce attorney.
Oh, dude, I'd be the best divorce attorney. It's like it'd be called
just pure logic.
You can't make a hoe a housewife.com.
I'd love to see one of those like television like court shows where Todd's the judge. Oh my god.
Yes.
I would love to see that shit.
Did you guys see that
make
video?
a show and just be fake.
We should.
You could just hire people and have fake cases. Just like we just watch Judge Judy, listen to how fucking retarded those people are, and then reenact the Judge Judy case.
Hey Paul, can you mark it 39 minutes 47 seconds for
the R word to come out?
Oh
shit! I'm always looking forward to the first drop of the day. But you're right, they are.
We should have like a leftist tearometer. And then, like, every time I break a woke protocol, there's like a tear count that shows up. Only instead of like a teardrop here, it's like a cup. It's like an overflowing shot glass of leftist tears.
Did you guys? I was just thinking about like the crazy girlfriend thing. Did you guys see that video? It was floating around on Instagram of the girl stomping the dude's windshield out.
Yeah.
Oh, I shared that, and I was like, why does this seem normal to me? I was like, this is totally normal. And
this is what happens when you date strippers. I know firsthand.
Oh, dude, one of my favorite is this girl ran out to her car, got in the car, closed the door, locked it, called 911, and started hitting herself on the face, screaming. It's like, Todd, stop hitting me, while she was on the 911 call in her car. And I was just like, that is some classic shit.
Oh, man, I dated some crazy ones in my 20s, man. I loved strippers when I was in my 20s, man. The trashier, the better.
This one wasn't a stripper yet. Man. She wasn't a stripper yet. She was 19. She became a stripper at 20. Yeah.
One in training.
Yeah, it's almost like an inevitable course.
I think every man goes through his stripper phase. I don't know.
I went to the strip club a lot. I didn't want to take it home.
Never went. It's weird. It's almost like I'm a magnet. Like, I never went to strip club ever. I wasn't endorsing that lifestyle. They would pretend not to be strippers. Their Facebook accounts are normal. They're like them playing with their kids. They're fully clothed. It's like the classier the girl is on social media, the more likely that she is a sex trade worker.
I ended up with a lot of chicks that would have been strippers if their families weren't as well off as they were. You know what I mean? That was my brand growing up.
Well, I grew up in the redneck ghetto, so they were ample.
Did they all listen to Nickelback?
Oh yeah, they all.
I found that all strippers listen to Nickelback. Like, that's like how you know. It's like your first red flag. Like, she might be a stripper if she listens to Nickelback.
Her name's Tiffany Diamond.
She might be a stripper if she says all the right things. Oh, we got a super chat.
Oh shit!
Whoa, 40 grams of aspartame a day.
I mean, my God, that's a lot.
How much aspartame is in like a can of Coke?
I was just
seeing your cat's face.
Let's look.
I was just reading this article I got sent from examine.com evaluating all sides of the new aspartame thing, and when we started, so I haven't gotten through it. But my recollection, when I did the research back in 2014, in order for you to get brain cancer from aspartame, you would have to eat 200 times your body weight in aspartame a day.
A 12-ounce soda, a 12-ounce Diet Coke has 192 milligrams.
Oh,
so that would be, let's see,
400 Diet Cokes.
That's what
it says. The World Health Organization says that 50 milligrams per kilogram is the acceptable daily dose. So that's pretty marginal.
So if we're 100 kilograms, that means we're like 5,000 or 5 grams, which would be what, 50 Diet Cokes?
I want to know how, like, is it safe to drink 40 grams is the question. Like, how are you getting 40 grams?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's a lot.
You have a big bag of aspartame and you're doing like Greg
mainlining it.
Yeah,
just fucking Tony Montana of aspartame.
Lining up rails on your on your counter.
You just snort it and it'll end up using less.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, wait, I probably shouldn't tell people to snort aspartame.
No.
Like Tide Pods and Clorox injections, this is hyperbole and sarcasm. This is a joke.
It's a joke. Don't do it.
Just like holding machetes up to people's throats. It's not real. It's theater.
Don't do it. Yeah, how the hell would you even get 40 grams of aspartame?
My only thought is like they have like a bag of aspartame and they're like scooping it and making something.
Oh my God, that person must fart so much. Sunscreen I chew 40 pieces of sugar-free gum a day. Yeah, I don't know how your colon can handle that. You must have like a 50-inch waist.
What S225, what were you addicted to before in life? I gotta know.
Probably everything.
Nobody's just chewing 40 pieces of gum a day unless
like
they're
meth.
replacing something else.
Well, it can't be meth because they wouldn't have any teeth. It's probably something that isn't meth. But
no, that's two different people. Sunscrave eats.
Yeah. My bad. My cat is blocking that portion of my screen right now. I thought it was S225.
Hey, that's a good segue.
Quiet. At least
it's a good segue. I chew 40 pieces of sugar-free gum a day. Yeah, I would shit my pants, man.
Yeah, bro. Terrible. Even one. I even
no joke.
Yeah, I remember maybe like what was it? It was like 15 years ago. I had like a gum phase, but I was my insides were just like so like gas all the time, just bloated all like. And then I was like, okay, fuck this. This is a bad idea.
I couldn't figure it out on my last contest prep, man. I kept getting like bloated up and having all this gas, and I was like, what the fuck am I eating? And it was the gum. I was just chewing gum all day long.
Yeah.
I had like a bagel the other day, and I felt when I woke up in the morning, I felt like someone stabbed me in the abdomen. That's how much gas I got from gluten from one bagel. After having not had gluten for a few weeks.
Yeah, gluten screws me up, man.
He asked specifically, would you guys count the calories or carbs from those? And I would absolutely count the calories. I mean,
from that many,
40 is a lot. 40 pieces.
Well, aspartame is a protein, so it's like 40 grams of protein. It's an amino acid.
It's an amino acid, right?
Yeah, it's an amino acid. It's 4 calories, I think, roughly.
Because I know a lot of people are like, I don't count my amino acids.
But not all. But not all gum is sweetened with aspartame, right? Though some of them use sugar alcohols.
No, they sugar alcohols, yeah. But like let's put things together in context. Let's say you're having 20 grams of EAAs intra-workout. Let's say you're having 5 grams of creatine pre-workout, 5 grams of arginine pre-workout, 5 grams of citrulline pre-workout, and 10 grams of glutamine post-workout. That's like 50 grams of amino acids. Yeah. That's about 200 calories that people don't count.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle says the sugar alcohol ones are the ones that fuck you up. They make me shit my pants. Yeah, they do make you shit your pants.
Yeah, I mean, a stick of sugar-free gum is 6 calories. So, I mean, 40 pieces, that's like 200.
That's a lot.
240. Yeah, that's
240. Yeah, I mean, that's enough to make a difference.
Homie, like, what's your budget? You could be spending that on some good Primo or something. Like, that's per day. I mean, holy shit.
Going through $5 a gum a day.
Yeah.
Well, that's like what Starbucks. And they're like, people are like, I can't afford you. I'm like, quit drinking Starbucks.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I need to have my coffee. I'm like, there was coffee before Starbucks for thousands of years. In fact,
that makes me think, dude. I love these assholes that reach out to me about coaching, and they tell me my coaching's too expensive, but then they're asking me if they should use pharma or generic HGH, and I'm like, what you should do is hire a coach.
Yeah.
So you know what you're doing with all of it.
What I say is, I guarantee you, hiring me will save you money. You'll spend less money on food, less money on dumb supplements, less money on gear, less money on doctors' copays. So if it's $3,000 a year, at the end of the year, you will have more than that $3,000. You will have saved more than $3,000.
Plenty of money to spend on strippers at that point.
Plenty of money.
No, dude, have the stripper spend money on you.
3,000 all in ones.
They're probably making more than you anyway. So.
Right. That's my whole point. It's like, how about I stay home with your kids and you work, and then because you make more money than I ever could, you make more money than a brain surgeon.
I wouldn't mind the stripper paying for me. It's just, it'd be embarrassing, like watching her count out all those singles in public. You know?
Not at all, man. Because when they see the big fake tits, they know what she does. And they see you with her, and they're like, wow, that dude's either rich or has a huge dick. And then she lays out all the money, and you're not touching the money. They're like, oh, it's A. Fuck. And then you're like, that's right.
Where did we even, like, oh my God.
Colton's just like, how did I get here?
What just happened?
Well, I think is your girlfriend still home? That's probably why. Yeah, that's why. Though. Okay. Well, she says she doesn't care. We
use the term anabolic bodybuilding loosely for this podcast.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, it's got to be interesting enough for people to watch it. After people figure out that it's really not that complicated, you use test, GH, and Masteron or Primo, and then you train hard and eat in a calorie surplus. That's pretty much all they need to know. And then they hear a bunch of nonsense and they need to have that nonsense clarified. So we'd be done with the podcast in like 10 minutes.
These podcasts have been going pretty well, man. I go back and look at, like, people keep watching the old ones, like the views keep going up. Like some of them are up over 5,000.
Yeah, it started at 2,000 a view, and now the old ones are at 5,000, 6,000 a view. And what's funny is I went through and I looked at some of the other leading brands, like John Jewett, who's like the smartest bodybuilder, right? And he's on Fuad's channel, which has 250,000 subscribers. Let's round up. Let's at 280. It's closer to basically 300,000. I think you're at 15,000, right? So there's a 20-to-1 ratio. I just cracked 16 yesterday. Yeah, we get almost as many views as they do. So therefore, like, it means that the ratio is 20-to-1. So we would be getting 20 times the views. And what's funny is their following is going down. Like their first videos have like 16,000 views. Their recent one, like they did one about how to get painted for a show that got like 800 views or 2,000 views. And it's like, this is the smartest people in the bodybuilding space.
Sad.
And that they're not getting any views. And then there's a whole,
like, you got us retards over here. Sorry, acknowledge that.
That's the thing. Is like you got people like Tanner Tad, a 22-year-old kid talking about SARMs, who has like 43,000 followers on Instagram and grows 1,000 like every day. Like, you know, it's kind of.
By the way, Chase, your John Jewett comment last week, Renee Jewett won the internet. Colin and I spent about a half an hour looking at Renee Jewett's butt on the internet.
I didn't know it had gotten that big. I didn't know it got that big.
I thought we were gonna have a work related meeting, and Paul's like, check out John Jewett's wife.
I had to go look. I wasn't sure.
She's wild looking, man. Like I think it's awesome, but yeah,
she doesn't even look real.
It's awesome. Yeah,
good for John,
crazy
man.
Looking.
He's winning.
She's competing this weekend, right? I think
that's what we call winning in life, man.
Indeed. Yeah.
So
I mean, no disrespect. I'm just like, you know, like fucking
bravo, John.
Bravo.
Where I was going with that was simply that if we make it fun and entertaining, people want to watch it. Whereas if it's super dry and super clean, people can't pay attention. It's too.
I had
it has to be somewhat fun.
I had somebody reach out to me.
Trying to eat chicken breast without mustard, you know,
or anything.
I had somebody else reach out to me asking me how much planning goes into this podcast, and I'm like,
so much.
None.
We all meet
literally
twice a week before we even do the podcast.
It's
just
literally pulled straight from my anus. Nothing is planned.
But Chase, you got shout out here. Michael
Sizen.
Devore said he emailed you a while back about blasting Sizen GH very high pre-contest, and he says he's had very little water retention, and that's been a big win for him. So he just wants to say thanks.
Wow. Very nice.
Another high dose GH win.
Yeah, I was curious about Sizen and how that would be. Did you guys know that Omnitrope it actually, what was it? It increases aromatization.
Really?
Yeah. One of my guys sent it to me because he bought a bunch of Omnitrope and he was going to start titrating up his dose, and he started taking it and he started getting some serious water retention, but he felt like it was like estrogen related. And then he found this, I don't know what it said, literally said Omnitrope increases aromatization. Let me see if I can find it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which I thought that was also because like there's a bunch of different types of Sizen where there's like the Easy Click blue pen, and then there's like those cartridges that everybody gets now. And from what I had heard was that the cartridges were actually more for fertility purposes in kind of that sort of sense. So when he brought up the whole Sizan thing to me, this guy, I was like, well, just be careful with it because it might cause a lot of water retention. I don't really know. I've heard it's this, but we'll see. And so apparently he's having a good time with it. But
fascinating.
Yeah, let me see. He said he found it online somewhere. Let me see.
What's a memer? Marty
Memer.
Lumberjack. Oh, what's a memer?
You make memes.
Okay.
We make funny
Okay, I
stuff.
found it.
Oh, okay.
Colin.
I thought a meme was a picture where you take like a picture and you put words around it to make it.
There's
like
video memes too.
So this says Omnitrope is used in infertility treatment plans to help treat women who need to compensate for a lack of natural growth hormone being produced in their bodies. Specifically, Omnitrope is used to enhance aromatase activity, which is needed to convert testosterone into estrogen within the body. By increasing the estrogen levels in the body, it helps stimulate the ovulation process.
Interesting.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, shit, I didn't know that about Omnitrope.
Wonder if it's just all IGF-1. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
Well, it's not IGF-1. I thought this is a GH brand, Omnitrope.
Yeah,
Right.
Omnitrope,
I'm thinking.
yeah.
Like,
Here it is. I found it for
IGF-1.
Omnitrope for use for female fertility treatment.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something else like specifically to that, or it's just like
Omnitrope is the
this is something
We'd
about
have
all
to,
growth.
we'd have to look at other ingredients if they have it published. If they don't, if it's patented and they don't have to disclose it, they might just have something in there to upregulate.
Yeah, here's what I think this is the same thing you just said. It said it's used for infertility treatment and plans to help women who need to compensate for lack of natural growth hormone.
Yeah, that's it.
Being produced. Yep. Specifically, Omnitrope is used to enhance aromatase.
That's fascinating.
Well, in order to release something on the market, your drug has to be different in some way. Either it's got a different onset time, a different half-life. It has to have better efficacy. It has to do something. Otherwise, you can't get on label for that thing. So maybe Omnitrope just didn't match up against the competitors so that they marketed on aromatization upregulation. And it also, they're mentioning that it increases GH. It's just not as good at GH as the other GHs. For instance, that's why Clomid is marketed to men. It's just a shitty version of tamoxifen, and it wasn't good for breast cancer like tamoxifen was. So they're like, what we could do is market it for male infertility. That doesn't make it better for male infertility than tamoxifen. It just sucks so bad at breasts that all it's good for is male infertility.
Side effects of Omnitrope: headache, edema, local site injection pain, numbness, muscle or joint pain, tingling or numbness in the hands, elevated blood sugar, and hypothyroidism.
So all of it is just water retention, downregulation of thyroid, and
elevated glucose.
Yeah,
fluid retention.
Well, because the purpose of GH is, I believe, one of the purposes is it drives carbs or it keeps carbs from leaving cells, and it makes fat as a preferred fuel source. So it's like what you want, but it can have a double-edged sword.
This guy paid $2 just to let us know what his first cycle after 16
years
of lifting is.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
Spicy first cycle.
I just told him in the comments to just half it, and that would be his first cycle.
Yeah, he didn't ask a question, but I knew y'all would have something to say about it.
I mean, it seems like a reasonable ratio, but like you're jumping on to 900 from zero. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's like learning how to swim and stepping on the high dive,
I've gone back and forth on this. Like people say, I've heard the argument that you should just come out of the gates with a fire, but I'm just like, those are the cheapest gains you're ever going to get on the lowest doses. Why waste that? I just I don't know that you're going to get that much more. Now, I remember my first cycle, I think my first injectable cycle, I think I did 250 milligrams of Deca a week. That was it for 10 weeks. And I put on something like 20 pounds.
Now, if I did
250 milligrams, it's like a goddamn Tic Tac.
Yeah.
My first effective cycle, because I'd used way more than this, but somebody talked me into using less, was 400 Deca, 200 test. That was it. and I was on, I think, 1 milligram of finasteride, and I was probably on 1 milligram of Arimidex. But that's because I started with finasteride and Arimidex. Before I ever used steroids, I started taking finasteride and Arimidex to drive down the holes, basically to stop converting away from testosterone, so it would drive up my natural test. And then I used like that Anadrol shit, and it got my free test from like a 10 to a 50 by using 5 grams of Anadrol a day, 1 milligram of Arimidex a day, and 1 milligram of finasteride a day.
I never used testosterone when I was in my 20s, not once.
That's so interesting.
Back then.
Where did you guys do your first injection?
Took us
Quad with a 19,
quad.
like 19 gauge.
Oh yeah, that's what I used to. It was a 19 gauge ones.
Yeah, mine was.
That's what everybody thought back
of
then. It was 19 gauge 1.5 inch. That was what people used to use.
Yeah, mine was 21 gauge, but yeah.
I won my Natty Pro card, and backstage I did my first shot of test.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Speaking of the Natty guys, do you guys get I get the guys that want to know what they can take and get away with it and then compete in Natty competitions all the time, reaching out to me.
What's the point? You know?
I'm like, just go compete in the NPC. Don't be a baby. Go compete in the NPC if that's what you want to do.
I always tell them, let's just go compete in girls' sports. Because that's the same thing as like being a dude who takes steroids and competing in Natty is the same thing as being a dude who competes in girls' sports.
Yeah.
Not saying that Natties are like girls. What I mean is that you can't win, so you have to cheat to win.
Todd, if then said, didn't you just shit on Primo in your last video?
Yeah. Did I say anything positive about it? I didn't think so.
I don't know. I don't think you did.
No, I definitely didn't say anything positive. To me, Primo is like the Beverly Hills version of Masteron.
I just made a video about this actually.
Yeah, it's more expensive.
You hurt my feelings,
and it gives you. But Paul, didn't you say that it gives you welts?
It does. The PIP hurts.
That's my point. Is even if you're made of money, it's still the only difference is it hurts.
Right.
Then why is anyone using it, not just using Masteron? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Even let's say there's like a 2%, 4% benefit on the total amount of systemic anabolism you get. Is that really worth like the extra couple $100 a month in like the PIP? You know,
it's 4 times.
I think we should keep pumping the Primo.
You're gonna make Paul's
our Masteron prices don't start to go up.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay. So the premise of my video was for me to use Primo, I'd be blowing $660 a month on Turkish Primo. Yeah. I use $180 to buy the same amount of Masteron.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Masteron is pretty much as effective, if not slightly more effective, for estrogen modulation, and it's anabolic. There's no advantage to the Primo, but there's the added disadvantage that it causes welts, which is inflammation, and thus will cause scar tissue over time. And since I'm in a cosmetic sport of bodybuilding, I'm making my body look worse on stage if I'm giving it constant scar tissue. So that if you're made of money and you're never going to step on stage and you like pain, then Primo would make more sense.
I like my Primo. I don't care what you say, Todd.
Have you guys seen how much the price of Primo, like that Pharma Primo, has gone up over the last year?
It's crazy. It's like
insane. And I blame Steve and Paul and me for it. A year ago, we were all talking about it, and then
I absolutely love Primo.
What is it? I thought the last I saw was like $20 an amp or something. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, it's not cheap.
I remember when it was like $6.
Yeah. I was like, "What the heck?"
Got a question here from Jimmy Starr. He says he's currently on 4 IUs, GH, 600 tests, 400 mass, 400 Primo, and 300 Tren Ace, doing them all SubQ. Am I missing out on gains? And thoughts against doing them all SubQ?
So that's a lot of oil to put SubQ. If you ever plan on stepping on stage, you're going to have fucked up skin. Your skin is something that's never talked about in bodybuilding. You need awesome skin to be an effective bodybuilder. And if you're doing SubQ injections, you're going to fuck up your skin. Now, if it's somebody you're not fat at all. You look great. But if it's a super fat person, then injecting under their skin, it's going to distribute through the fat, and it's no big deal. Most Americans are ultra fat. They're not even super fat. So the point is, if you're trying to get it to not fuck up your skin, if you want to look good on stage, you should be going in the muscle. And if you go under the skin and you don't have enough fat, you can get inflammation, which is going to be, like I said, if there's redness, heat, pain, it's inflammation, there's going to be scarring.
Yeah. I've found that especially when I get leaner, it's like SubQ is not an option. It's just so, it gets so inflamed and it's an ugly look.
Yep.
And I've gotten scar, like I have on my hip, I have scarring from spots I've done it too. It's not good.
There's times where I will have, if I inject in the muscle and I don't go deep enough with the insulin syringe and it leaks out into the fat, I had, out of the last 100 shots, 1 shot leaked into the fat. I still have a nodule there.
Yeah.
And it's been months.
I get these like, I don't like sometimes like it'll leak out. I don't know if you can see it, but I get it's hard to see, but I get like these brown spots on my skin.
Now I feel bad because about Josh's comment. I'm sorry, Josh.
I think he's joking. Josh might be talking about something on Pro Muscle about me. There was a thread on Pro Muscle about me being on 18. I use the growth and 3500 test and Masteron, and one of the things that was said in there, based on my video, a lot of people were like, "Why does his skin look so thick? Why do his ankles look so big?" Which was really weird because I was like, "Wait,
why are you looking at my ankles?"
Well, so one of the comments was, he looks like he has the ankles of a 300+ kilogram mega obese American. And I was like, what the hell is this? So then I made an account, go into Pro Muscle, and I take a picture of my ankles and post it in there. And they're like veins going down them. And I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And they were all just like, oh, well, I don't know what we saw in that video, but
that's hilarious.
I don't know if that's what he's talking about, because ultra fat American, that was specifically that might be what he's talking
actually
about.
Posted a picture of your ankles. That's great.
I posted like 3 pictures of my feet. Just to be like, shut up.
Things that people get fixated on, man, it's so fucking weird, man.
I just put every once in a while I post a picture from the gym because I'm vain, and I had somebody on Facebook, like, they were really reaching. He was like, I never noticed how skinny your ankles are. You got skinny ankles. I'm like, all right. Like, I don't know what to do about that, man. Like,
you want to have skinny ankles.
I always love how freaked out people. Yeah, small joints are better for bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, you want to have small joints.
I was like, well, I mean, yeah, my skin might look a little bit thicker, but like, I'm on fucking 3,500 test and 18 growth hormone. Like, what do you expect?
You're gonna be holding.
There's gonna be a little under there, but it was just. It's still like, I actually now that thread it turned around once I went in there, and now they're like asking questions and blah blah blah. It was pretty funny when I wasn't in there. It was like 3 pages of them just shitting on me, and I was like, "What the hell? Where did all this come from?"
The stuff people choose to fixate on, man. I laugh every time we post a training video, and Colin and I are wearing sandals. Oh my god, people freak the fuck out, man, about the sandals. They're like, "Oh god, that's gross." We're in sandals. I'm like, dude, I'm not rubbing my feet on the bench press, man.
Dude, that's fucking funny.
And they're like, "You're gonna that's a risk," and I'm like, "Okay, like 1 millimeter of fabric is going to protect a 45-pound plate from crushing my toe. It's not going to make any fucking difference at all if I drop the plate."
They think that the Air Jordans they wear are enchanted. That they've got Air Jordans means that it's just shoe +5 to armor class. Like, those fucking Air Jordans are not going to save your toes.
Well, we joke about it. I call them the anabolic sandals, and say that they help with gains, and then people are like, "No, they don't. What are you talking about? They don't make
they take it seriously.
They take it literally."
We tell them that it makes your lifts 10% more anabolic. I had to call them my anabolic sandals or my Air Force Bethlehems.
It's like some bro science. I told one guy had a profile. It was Faith for You or something like that. I don't remember the guy's name. And he's like, He's like, those are gross. You shouldn't be wearing those at the gym. And I'm like, they were good enough for Jesus. They're good enough for me.
That's right.
I had an ex-girlfriend that used to come over when I was about to bench, and she would like sit on my face really quick. And this is not something I asked for, but she would just do it. And she'd be like, there you go. Now my pheromones will give you plus 12% to your strength.
Fair enough. Probably would.
Yeah, it was not a classy gym, so she could get away with it. But this isn't like
she
an
was
LA
a classy
fitness.
broad, obviously.
No. Refer to the previous conversation that Colton had to look around and make sure his girlfriend.
He's like,
She was retired before I met her, but so.
I'm sorry, you said retired?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
From the previous
R
context.
word.
No. So what's funny is I went through and I typed out 15 different ways to say that word where I spell it different. And so I've got it spelled so many different ways now, so that if I can just cut and paste it, if I have to put it.
My favorite is just say
so
redacted.
Redacted.
This is Joshua Perry says self-feet pics make that cash, man. So maybe we need to start an OnlyFans, Colin.
Let's do it. We should start a podcast.
I thought there's a website called Only Feet. Someone told me that there is an Only Feet.
Possibly.
Wouldn't shock me.
There's some freaks out there.
I think it's weird that people have like
we can put Chase's
male
ankles on there too.
I get foot fetishes of women's feet.
I'll send you a link to the thread.
I don't get the men's feet thing.
I mean, I guess, like it's mostly dudes who have like among those, that segment of the population who has attraction to feet, like those who are attracted to women's feet tend to be men. Yeah, I know it has to be a site, right?
Josh, you're right. It has to be a site.
So I guess the question is, if it's somebody who's attracted to men's feet, does that also make them gay?
Probably. I would think.
Because
I would think most people who are attracted, like among the segment of population who's attracted to feet, those who are attracted to male feet would probably it's an extension of being attracted to like men in general.
I doubt there's a single woman with a foot fetish. That I don't think there's any.
I think it's largely dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure plenty of women have their kinks too, but I don't know. Something tells me.
So we're famous. We're on.
They posted you too.
How many ads? How many fucking ads
can
they fit in here?
What is
it? Looks like fucking Idiocracy. It looks like
it looks like the placemat you get at a diner. Like you get a placemat at a diner.
On his drug use, he got the high. Somebody can't even fucking spell the high. I think it means HGH.
He's probably typing on his
the last 3 months.
Auto-corrected to high.
Oh man, I'm sure this.
Yeah, there. Go up a little bit.
Are we looking
what
for
is this?
This is like there, time traveling.
The top comment right there. Read that one.
The guy.
This one.
Yeah.
The guy who claims he has no estrogenic sides, where he has skin as thick as an elephant and edema on his ankles, like a 300-kilogram mega obese American. He's 270. He's cutting. I bet he'll be a little over 200 pounds. Bad way.
Yeah.
It's like what? Where is this coming from?
Has anybody, have any of you ever looked at Chase and like not even the first thought, but any thought come to your mind, being like, he's got thick skin? Like what?
I was confused. I was like, what the heck? So, but yeah, then the same guy is just like ripping on me. And so then you can see I pose my feet.
This guy said no idea, but you got ugly feet.
Yeah, he's not making any money on Only Feet. I'm sorry.
No. Tommy J says no edema, but god damn you feet ugly.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. Oh man, this.
Sorry, Chase. It's not an avenue for income for you, bud.
I thought the forums were dead. Chase has brought them back alive.
Yeah.
It's like going back in time looking at a forum. Jesus
I didn't know what we were looking at
on your feet, dude.
Well, yeah, somebody yeah, I know. Somebody told me like, hey, they're talking about you on here. And I was like, oh, cool. And then we started looking and like, oh, they're ripping on you. What the hell? I was like, well, and then they just started running with that story that one guy said. And they were like, well, I wonder why he's got so much edema, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
it's so funny.
What are you talking about? Like, that's been the thing that I've been looking out for since I started all of this was my feet and paying attention to ankle edema, because I've had pitting edema before where it was like you could push in like half an inch and it would stay there.
Really?
It was nasty. That was years ago, but like that's the one thing that I've absolutely been watching out for, because that's bad deal.
The only time I get cankles is post contest, like when I start eating food again.
You get cankles from black and white cookies.
Yeah. It blew my mind, because I was like, that was the one thing that I've been watching out for this entire time was ankle edema. And then they go in and say, look at all of his ankle edema. And I was like,
funny, man.
Wait, what?
Josh, one of my clients, but he's his brother of some women with fart fetishes. So I'm sure there's some women out there who like feet.
Good point. That's how I landed my wife.
Is it really? The Dutch oven?
I've said too much.
Oh my God.
Another one here from S225. He loves paying for questions, but he wants to know if you can get big legs from only hip belt squats. I don't think there's one exercise that you can get big legs from. Like, you need to do a couple different ones.
Forget that there's a ton of different muscles in the legs. Like, they just lump legs. I mean, you've got the quadriceps, and there's different angles. You can hit the fucking quadriceps, adductors, hamstrings.
Yeah.
We won't mention calves.
Adductors.
I mean, shit, you can be like Sam Sulek and just do leg extensions and leg curls, and that's it. And
that's all he does.
I mean, he has done squats before, but like I think he's taking a break from pressing with his legs.
Squats are great. It's just like you can do so many other things, like even if you're heavily restricted.
It's like his last few leg workouts have been.
I'm not even sure what a hip belt squat is.
I don't even know, like 18 sets of leg extensions.
I think he's just talking about a belt squat.
Yeah,
okay, that makes more sense then. I mean, I don't do it right now. That's the only squat pattern I have is belt squat. And my legs definitely aren't getting smaller.
Yeah, but I mean, belt squats can light the quads up for sure.
You know what's been blowing our legs up? My legs have been growing like crazy from doing stupid sissy squats.
I think they're great.
I gotta bring mine here. I have a sissy
dumbbell
at home.
Hold a dumbbell and do sissy squats, and my legs are just like responding like crazy to them.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's like a hack squat for people without an ego problem.
Yeah,
because you're spending 700 pounds.
My only regret is that I can't load up the sissy squat machine with 8 plates and then do a 25% range of motion on it. Yeah,
no, exactly. It's just come all the way down, come all the way up on a sissy squat.
It's terrible. Hard. Oh yeah, no, I bought a sissy squat thing with intentions of putting it under the Smith machine. I was like, after trying it once, I was like, no fucking way.
Dude, I got some big ass legs, man. We use a 70-pound dumbbell, and that destroys me.
Yeah. No, I bought that during when the lockdown was going on, because I was like, I gotta find a way to work my legs. So I got that for the house. And the first time I got on it, I was like, holy shit. By the time, the months had gone by, I was using my weight vest on it, and that goes up to 40 pounds, but even then that was brutal.
Yeah, you don't need much.
Yeah, those are hard. Yeah,
I can't tell you the last time I did a squat, and it's been years.
So I guess S225, like it's like if somebody held a gun to your head and was like, you can only do one exercise, like the belt squat wouldn't be the worst one to choose, but you owe it to yourself and to your legs to do a couple different exercises to maximize growth.
I think the part of the leg that people neglect the most is the adductors.
Agreed.
Well, so my favorite exercise for legs would be the belt squat, because you can sit back and hit your glutes. You can push your knees forward and hit your vastus medialis. You can push your legs out and hit your vastus lateralis, or you can stand really wide and hit your adductors. You can also, you could do good mornings with it and hit your glutes or hamstrings.
You can do a lot with it. Yeah, you can do a lot with it.
Yeah, so you can kind of do a whole leg workout. You can do single leg squats or step ups if you put something on there, so that you can turn. And then, of course, you can do back with it. You can do T-bar rows with it. You can do upright rows with it. You can do curls with it. I mean, it's one of the best pieces of equipment.
Which belt squat machines do you use? Which of the?
Right now, I'm using a Panatta, which doesn't go very heavy. It only holds 600 pounds.
What's the one in our gym? I think it's Atlantis, right?
It's been a while since we used it, but I think it's Atlantis. Yeah. Are you talking pendulum or belt?
No,
Well, I would say pendulum's my second favorite thing for quads. But again, it's like I still think the sissy squat theoretically is better because what people don't try to do is lay down. Just lay down on the floor and do a leg extension in a sissy squat. I call it a Nosferatu. You just pop up like this, and it's like a closed. It's a closed change leg extension. So between the sitting back, you can sit back and thrust your hips forward.
You look like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Basically, you can sit down and then stand up. There's one way, or you can sit down and thrust your glutes forward, so you're at a diagonal that hits that doesn't take tension off the quads and it hits the glutes. Or you can lay down and just hinge up at the knees, and I call that a Nosferatu, and that will get your leg extensions. You could do like ABC and do 3 different exercises and hit your quads 3 different ways, and you're done. You've done everything you need to do for quads that day. There's just no tension to contracted position, of course, but you've got every way you can possibly train the stretch position.
Yeah. Mine's sitting behind my couch at home right now, and I still haven't brought it in to the gym.
We have this, it's funny how like different machines, my knees are wrecked. I've had, I think, like 5 knee operations, something like that. Both of my ACLs redone, but we have this Atlantis hack squat that like my knees just do not hurt at all on that Atlantis. And then I'll go over and use the other one, the Arsenal hack squat, and my knees feel like they're going to explode.
I have an Atlantis hack squat, so if you
the Arsenal,
that's good.
I hate the Arsenal hack squat.
Me too.
That's my least favorite one. My favorite one's the Cybex. Then probably the I think it's called Starcraft, although I know that's not what it's called. Star Trek. That's what it's called. Star Trek's my second favorite one. Then a Carrion if you're tall, but if you're short, it's not going to be enough. And then also a Magnum. You never see those, but a Magnum's a really good one.
You know what's really hard are I think it's Paramount. Is that? Yeah, Paramount. The Paramount brand is hard as hell. Quads has a lot of those different.
Our gym is awesome, man. We've got so many different types of machines, man. It's the best. It's the best selection of machines. I mean, in the DC Metro area, I think.
We're spoiled for choice at our gym.
Yeah, I mean, we got all the brand new Panatta stuff. The Panatta stuff is so fucking nice, man.
Yeah, I've tried some of that stuff when I went to the Redcon gym. They have a lot of Panatta stuff out there. It's really nice. It's like a freaking like Lamborghini of equipment.
I think the guy that owns our gym said by the time he got them shipped over here, they were like 10,000 a piece.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, because you got to ship it overseas and pay for customs and all that bullshit. Like, and that definitely adds up. Like, I ordered one thing from Watson. I ordered an inverse leg curl machine, and I didn't know about customs and having to pay that price. And so then it makes it to like New York or whatever, and they're like, okay, you owe us another $1,000 to get it.
Really?
I was like, fuck. Wow. But whatever,
Yeah, they just built another powerhouse near me in Northville. It's like 40 minutes away. So I'd have to drive past West Bloomfield, my gym. I have to drive past Novi to then drive to Northville, but that's all Panatta.
Oh, really? Wow.
And where I am, if you have a corporate powerhouse gym membership, you have a membership to all corporate powerhouse.
That's pretty cool.
And I think all 5 in the world are located right here. I think every other powerhouse gym on the planet is a franchise.
Yeah, when I actually went to, there's a powerhouse out there in Michigan. I think it's on like 25-mile road. I'm not sure. I don't know the roads out there. It's like in this little like shopping mall section.
You're talking about one on Hall Road in Macomb?
Maybe,
or Rochester
around there, near Rochester.
Yeah, well, so they're putting one in near Shelby, which is probably 5 miles east of Rochester, and that one's gonna be a new one with like all Panatta.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that'd be cool. When do you know when that's going up?
2024, I think.
Oh, actually, there was a gym when we were in Greece. I paid to go to a real gym one day, and they had a bunch of Panatta stuff. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, Panatta's big in Europe.
They had a lot there, and I was surprised.
So this is,
but it was cool.
So apparently, like Joe Panatta, I think it's probably short for Giuseppe. He hand makes the equipment, makes a prototype, tests it out, goes back and redesigns it, and then makes it again, tests it out, goes and redesigns it, makes it again, and tests it out. So it's like they're literally crafted like Ferraris, whereas all the other brands is people that aren't even bodybuilders. They just use a CAD machine and use computers to design how it's supposed to work, and then just release it. And then in theory, it should work for somebody's anatomy.
Yeah. No, yeah, they are very.
But it's like all ergonomic. Like for instance, like there's a lever to move something out of the way so you can get out of the equipment, and then there's handholds where they should be, based on what you use. And there's so many adjustments. Like you can pull. Like my favorite back equipment. Everyone uses that Nautilus. And I used it, and then I went over to this is in Grand Rapids. They had one gym that had both of these pieces of equipment next to each other. They had the Panatta next to the Nautilus. The Panatta, you can angle it so you're 45 degrees neutral or 45 degrees this way. The seat goes up and down. The pad goes this way and that way. The pad tilts this way and that way. So I was able to replicate the Dorian Yates hammer strength row. I was able to replicate the normal hammer strength high row. I was able to replicate the normal hammer strength underhand row.
Yeah.
I was able to recreate and 3 different machines.
Well, that's handy. Yeah, because like at Quads, they've got those 3 different machines, and I was like, this takes up a lot of space, you know. But yeah, that's pretty handy.
At Absolute Comp here, they have all that Panatta shit, and I love that lap pull down. That's like one of my favorite things
ever.
It's also cool how like a lot of the adjustments you can do it from just like right where you're sitting instead of like they'll have like a hand brake attached to a cable that'll pull a pin somewhere else to like move stuff. I was like, that's pretty damn smart.
It's so ergonomic. It's like it's designed for the person using the equipment.
Yeah.
Because he goes in there and he tests it. He's like, oh man, I really need a grip here. So I'll go and redesign and put a grip in there. And he's like, oh, this would really work better if I could angle it another 10 degrees. So he'll adjust the handles. And it's just like, I love that type of whatever. I don't know what the proper term is. Conviction, attention to detail. The fact that there's 3rd and 4th generation of the equipment before it's ever released, rather than with like the other brands, it's like they released it in 1993, and then by the time they got it right, it's 2018.
Yeah,
it's like you look at the seats on the stuff. It's hand stitched.
I was about to say
leather.
The next thing, you walk up to it and you see like the seats and stuff. It's like it looks like a race car seat. Like what the hell? It's like wow, this is nice.
Yeah, it's like all hand
your
stitched
sweaty ball
leather.
sack on it.
Well, that was the thing that was crazy in Greece. Was like this gym had all this really cool Panatta stuff, but they had no air conditioning. It was fucking hot as hell. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, leather and hot weather means sweatsuit.
There were some upholstery tearing and stuff.
We are like the only country that like widely uses AC. You go anywhere else, it's kind of a rarity.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of the most important things about life.
All right, I got one last question here. We'll wrap this up. Whipped Creamy. He wants to know when I went bald. The funny thing about when I went bald is I wasn't even on gear. It was in my late 30s. I'd been off gear like 8 years, and I went bald. So go figure that one out. But my dad, everybody else in my dad's family is bald, and I have a little bit of hair on top, but it looks like a garden that hasn't been watered enough. So I just said that at that time my wife was like, "It's got to go." Are you bald by choice, Chase, or is that
mine don't grow? Like it's like thin like here. So, and I remember when it was falling out, like it was like I was using a ton of Masteron and not a whole lot of anything else. It was like 8 years ago or something. I remember being in the shower, like washing my hair, and then you just see all of this hair in your hands. I was like, what the hell? And but yeah, so like it grows. I have grown it out. I think 2 years ago I let it grow, but it doesn't look. I don't like the way it looks. People have told me it looks fine, but So I shave it off, and it's just so much easier just keeping it shaved, and I don't have to worry about doing anything with it in the morning or anything like that. But it'll grow. I just don't want it. Yeah,
I could legit do the old man ponytail if I wanted, because it's like,
oh yeah,
it's all like up here.
Yeah, so it would grow like it would grow fine, like right there. But yeah, it's thin. Once it gets so long, and then you like try to style it, you can like see through it enough that I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want it to look like I'm trying, trying to have hair. So
yeah, I just don't give a fuck. I don't want to do a comb over.
Yeah,
we both have good shaped skulls. If you had weirdly shaped skulls, then it wouldn't work.
It'd be bad.
I got a giant melon. The sucky part though that I really hate is like in the summer my head, I always have to worry about my head being sunburnt, and in the winter my head's always fucking cold.
You wear a hat.
Yeah, I do wear a hat all the time, but I don't like hats. And I have a giant head, and they don't make hats that fit my head.
Dude,
well, what size head are you?
I'm the same. Like, since I use growth hormone, I can barely, like, I have to do the last notch on every fucking hat I have. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and sometimes that's not even big enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, if I do a fitted hat, it's a 7 7/8, I think.
Okay, that's pretty big. I was going to be like, how big? Because I'm a 7 and I think a quarter or something like that on fitted hats. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, so it's like 8 inches basically. But like regular off the shelf hats usually don't fit me. And I'm just a giant. I wear a size 15.5 shoe.
That's pretty big.
It says large, extra large. I don't know what that means, because
I got these
large
big
isn't a
club
number.
hands. You see how wide my fucking hands are. Yeah. They're all beat up too.
So like I've got my feet are like, so I bought the tier squat shoes that are supposed to have an extra wide toe box.
Yeah.
It's still like I've got like I'm a Chinese girl, have my foot bound to a rock.
Really?
That is, I usually wear Automixes because like my foot goes over the sole of the foot, so that it's actually the side of the foot that I'm walking on, and it's like they're size 9.5 or 10 depending on the brand, but the width of the foot is like bigger than a double E. And
I'll tell you, Todd, you might want to look into Birkenstocks, man.
I can't reach my toenails to clip them. So,
is it Automix or Atomics? I always thought it was Atomics.
It is Atomics, but I say Automix because I just like say, I gotta do everything different.
Yeah, my feet are wide. If I'm not wearing if I'm not barefoot just in my gym or wearing like those toe shoes, Metcons seem to fit just fine. Yeah,
I like those.
Yeah, those are wide enough. But squat shoes, like I do have like the Nike Romaleos, like they're tight, but
they're so tight. Oh my god, it's so painful to put those on.
Yeah,
like the tier are so much wider.
They are
Nikes,
because I was looking at them. I've seen they're new. Yeah,
they're
being advertised everywhere.
They're cheaper too. They're only $200, whereas the Nike Romalos are $300.
Yeah.
So I've got a pair of
limited to Nikes. That's the only thing that fucking fits me anymore.
The Romalo 3s were tight as fuck. It was excruciatingly painful. I'd wear dress socks, like real dress socks, super thin dress socks, and it was still so tight that I'd be in so much pain for my feet I couldn't focus on the lift.
Yeah.
And then when I switched to the tier are very tight if you wear like Puma socks. But if I wear like Under Armour socks, which are like not as thick as the Puma socks, then it's actually pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I put on the Nikes and I don't even tie them. I just like lightly Velcro them on because they are tight.
Yeah, I cut the laces off of my Nikes, and I don't use the Velcro either. Like, and I still can't put my foot all the way in without it being painful.
You can get those replacement stretchy laces where you never have to tie them. I do it for my son because he's lazy.
Oh, really?
That's
laces. So neat. Stretchy laces.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I got clients competing. I got calls this afternoon. So, all right, folks, I appreciate you watching. Take care.